Martin Scorsese's Killers of the Flower Moon is his upcoming Western drama, his latest film after the release of The Irishman in 2019. The film could easily be set to be Scorsese's darkest picture, which is saying something, as it concerns the investigation of a series of murders that plagued the Native American Osage tribe in Oklahoma, based on a book of the same name by David Grann. What is uncovered is a grisly chapter in American history that has been swept under the carpet. The film is shaping up to be a Scorsese epic. It stars, for the first time ever under Scorsese, both Leonardo DiCaprio and Robert De Niro in the same film, the two actors who Scorsese most frequently casts as his leading men. The film also stars Jesse Plemons, Lily Gladstone, John Lithgow and Brendan Fraser, and is reported to have a stunning budget of $200 million, with set images showing huge sets being constructed for what will be Scorsese's first Western. Recently, the film's screenwriter Eric Roth, who worked on Forrest Gump, The Insider and the recent Dune movie, spoke about the project, revealing some details such as an intriguing-sounding end credits to the film and the movie's long-awaited release date. He said, "This was a unique story that I knew nothing about. It showed my ignorance. I thought, it's unbelievable, it could be a Western. And Marty's never done a Western. It's the first time you'll see a street scene where there's 90% Native American indigenous people and 1 or 2% Caucasians. He showed me early on a clunky, dated movie called The FBI Story with Jimmy Stewart, 3 cases from the FBI files, and this was one of them. They had an oil well in the middle of the street. I felt it might have a feeling of this, and so I utilized a lot of Western tropes for it. Marty lets you go far afield. He doesn't mind exploring whatever way creatively you want to do things, and so I had a lot of e-ticket rides. I don't know what are left." He was then more or less asked in the interview whether this was the longest script he's worked on, to which he said, "Marty doesn't mind things being long, he encourages that. But it's more than him figuring it out. He's telling you what he wants, and he steers you, says, 'I love this and this, but can we try this?' And I was happy. I came up with an incredible way to do the end credits, which you've never seen. He wrote me a text the other day, 'I'm going to shoot our end credits in a couple of days.' I was so happy that he's doing that." He was then asked whether he visited the set, and he replied, "I've got a lot of underlying conditions. With COVID, I would have had to go into quarantine for 10 days. Marty needed to focus on what he was doing. It was a huge task. We talked all the time and still do. It was one of my great experiences, so I hope the movie's good." And finally, on when the film is actually coming out, Roth said, "When you'd assume, next November. I've heard he's well on his way to getting the editing done." Roth's comment here has caused a little bit of confusion, as by saying next November you'd assume he meant 2023, but apparently he's referring to this year. Of course, especially in today's age, a screenwriter giving us the release date of a film isn't exactly a concrete confirmation, and things can always change, but it gives you an idea of where they are with the post-production of the film, if indeed Eric Roth did mean 2022, and the suggestion is that they're almost done, which is very cool, as after filming was announced and we got a lot of images from this set, things all of a sudden went quiet. There was no Scorsese Instagram post to announce filming had wrapped like he did with The Irishman. News just died for months on end, which can either spell that a film is in trouble or that things are ticking along nicely. And it appears the latter is the case here, if the film will indeed be ready for the Oscar season of this year. Filming was supposed to start in early 2021, but principal photography is thought to have actually started in the summer, lasting around 6 or 7 months, wrapping in the end of last year. There's a bit of conflicting information about the shooting of the movie online, but if all that's true, then for a Scorsese film, this movie is coming out remarkably quickly, as it isn't uncommon for a Scorsese picture to be in the editing stage for a hefty amount of time. Perhaps this tells us something about how much practical effects and sets were used, as opposed to the VFX-heavy The Irishman, or how Scorsese, as he has previously alluded to, could see the film in his head after reading the novel. Interestingly, as I detailed in a previous video, Killers of the Flower Moon went through a major script overhaul which completely changed the tone of the film and resulted in DiCaprio playing a different character. Roth and DiCaprio are thought to have had differences on the direction the film should take. It's interesting what Roth has said about the end credits. Funnily enough, The opening credits to Scorsese movies is something I miss. His opening credits used to be amazing, like Casino, Raging Bull, Taxi Driver, Cape Fear, but then all of a sudden, he stopped doing them. Let's hope they have something special in store for the end credits of this movie. Killers of the Flower Moon is set to be released in November of this year. If indeed Roth did actually mean this year, which to be honest, IndieWire's interviewer should have clarified. But anyway, for more updates on the film, consider subscribing to the channel, and thanks for watching.